Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie. If you are new here, I do all kinds of lifestyle videos, motherhood videos, a lot of vlogs, but I try to do at least 2 budgeting videos a month. I like to share our experience with budgeting. It's something that got us out of some really tight times years ago. We still have quite a bit of debt, which you'll see in here, and we have quite a bit of like high expenses, higher than normal. Normal budgeting expenses. I feel like when you watch a lot of people in the budgeting world, they're very, very tight and strict, which is how we used to be. We've been fortunate with our income going up a little bit in the last couple years that we can be a little bit less strict. Some people don't agree with that, some people do. This is just the way that we do it. But I do like sharing our budget every month, our mindset behind things. And today I'm actually gonna dive into our food budget and why it's so high, because it's something that I get asked about quite a bit, and I just wanna explain it again for those of you that aren't sure. But I will jump into that when we get to the food budget part of the budget. Anyways, again, if you can hear the cicadas, it's cicada season. I have cicada trees apparently in our backyard, so there's quite a bit of noise going on, but I still want to film this video and show you guys what our October budget is going to look like. What we're planning for October. This is my budget with me, so I might make some changes while we're doing this, but for the most part I've already set it up, and I'll just take you through what it looks like. So without further ado, let's jump into my October budget with me. I got chills and then multiplying. Okay, so this is what our October budget is looking like at this point in time. Right now, I keep our income blocked out. You could probably guess it if you wanted to. You can see the overall income. I just don't show like exactly what our income is, just for actually more of my husband's preference. My income changes, it depends. I work for myself as a freelancer. I currently am a writer for one client. Sometimes I have other clients. And then Ben, my husband, is a data scientist, data engineer. I don't know, he does stuff with data. That's all I know. Anyway, so that's kind of what we do. And then Ben also gets a payout from a business that he used to be a part of that he'll get for the next like year-ish. So that is our income as of right now. Rollover, I won't add in until the end of September when I see what that looks like. Currently, September is actually looking pretty good, which if you watched my September budget with me, you would know that I was fairly worried about September. I will say we have a bunch of medical bills coming in, so while it looks really good right now, I don't know that it'll continue to look really good, you know? So I just have 0 for now, and then miscellaneous I have 0. I'm not planning on getting anything, but this is like if I get a refund or we get interest on our Ally bank account, or somebody sends us a gift, or like last month you'll see I won a competition, so I got $200 sent to me. So that's where I would put that kind of stuff. So without any of that stuff, planning to bring in about $9,400. That is a really good income. We used to live off of like $3,000 a month or $2,000 a month. So this is a very good income. Really grateful for it. There's gonna be a loud plane. Moving on to fixed expenses. Most of these are fixed, so they don't change very often. I am just realizing that there's one other thing, one row above, magic links. I want to say, I don't remember exactly how much this is a month, so I'm just gonna put $4 and then I'll change it after this video. Well, actually, how much is it? $375, so close enough. $375. Our rent is $2,500. I'm not gonna complain about it every single time I do a video, but if you've watched any of my videos, you already know. I look really red. Oh, interesting. $2,500, that's what we pay. We live in Illinois. It's expensive. Ivy's pounding on the floor. Renter's insurance, we only pay a couple times, 3 times a year, so we're not paying that this month, but we will in our next budget. Life insurance, these are like, I think Amazon Prime is in here too. Like our TV stuff. Kindle Unlimited, I use my Kindle. Car insurance, apps, most of these apps are Ben's. Google Drive, internet, and phones. And then I have our business, or my business expenses kind of split out, but they're still fixed expenses. If you didn't know, I currently shut down my business account because I just didn't need it. And it honestly was just becoming more cumbersome to move money between two bank accounts. So I just have my money going into a high yield savings account in Ally that we already have, and then moving it within our own account, if that makes sense. But I do still have some business expenses that come out every month. One of them being Canva. I just signed up for Magic Links, which is something for YouTube, $15.99 for Spotify. Libsyn is my previous podcast that I keep going. And then miscellaneous is if I know of something else coming up, like I need to buy a camera or something like that. So planning on spending $29, $69, $55 in fixed expenses this month, most of that being rent as per usual. Here's the big one, our debt. Things were said and things were done, and student loans have come back. So I have added in our student loan payments. I believe, I don't even remember, this one and this one were our student loan payments that have been in forbearance since COVID. So we're back up to over $1,000 in debt payments that we pay a month. We used to pay close to $3,000 in debt, so this is still really good. But this is currently what our debt is gonna look like next month, which sucks, 11% of our budget. Variable expenses, okay, groceries and Costco, since Costco is mostly groceries. We'll talk about this. I had someone ask in the previous video, and then I feel like every other video I get people asking or encouraging us to lower our grocery budget. And for those of you that have heard this before, just skip ahead like a minute because I rambled. The reasons why we will not be lowering our grocery budget, I know that it's really high, and I know that if you see other budgeters out there who are spending $200 a month on a family of 4 somehow, and they're doing like couponing and doing all this stuff, that's just not how we eat. So some of the things that I'll talk about is Ben and I both have food intolerances and allergies. I do not eat gluten and don't eat a ton of dairy, and he does not eat dairy, and there's a couple other things that he's sensitive to. So there's certain things that we buy that are gluten and dairy free that tend to be a little bit more expensive. You think about like a dairy-free milk is more expensive than a regular milk, dairy-free cheese more expensive than a regular cheese, gluten-free products more expensive than regular wheat products. So those tend to be higher if we buy any like packaged food. But actually the biggest reason why these are so much more expensive is because we buy mostly organic and mostly very high quality meat. So if you didn't know, Ben and I used to be plant-based. I would prefer to be plant-based, but it's just not something that my body loves. I feel better when I'm eating meat. So my way of ethically doing that is eating as high of quality meat as possible so that it is not harming the animal in the best way, if that makes sense. So we eat a lot of grass-fed meat. I do eat a lot of grass-fed meat, organic meat, no hormones, all that jazz. And then organic, we eat mostly organic products. Obviously not everything is organic, but with most of our produce and stuff like that, we do prefer to eat that way. So that raises the price of things, which is dumb. I don't think it should be, but that's the way that our wonderful world works with food is, you know, the cleaner the food is, the more expensive it is. So because of that, our grocery budget is just higher. And I know that that's not a priority to everybody. That is to us though. And both Ben and I have Hashimoto's, I have an autoimmune disease, and I have migraines and other chronic issues with my stomach. Ben has a bunch of health issues, which we've talked about on here before. And one of the ways that we try to help us not get sick as often is by eating as high of quality food as possible, which therein equals high food budget. We also don't eat a ton out, although you know that I love eating out, but we try not to eat out a ton. And if we do, we eat at like a little bit higher quality of, not necessarily it's like Chipotle, but you know what I mean? I'm not eating McDonald's every day, and no offense if you are, that's just like not something I can eat. If I can't eat gluten, I can't eat McDonald's, you know? We eat most of our meals at home, which also ups that budget. Ben works from home every day. Ben eats a ton of food for as thin as he is. It's insane how much food that he eats. The other thing that's going on with this, sorry to all of you, I said to skip a minute because it's been much longer than a minute. We have been doing a lot of grocery pickup from Whole Foods lately, and Whole Foods is definitely a more expensive grocery store. I would prefer to do most of my shopping at Trader Joe's. But right now with where we're at, I don't feel comfortable bringing IV places by myself yet. If you know about my mental health stuff, if you watch my vlogs, you understand that. So a lot of the time, the only food that I can get is pickup, and the only pickup we have around here is from Whole Foods. That's like the most convenient one to us. So that definitely ups the price a little bit because Whole Foods is more expensive. Although to be honest, compared to like Mariano's and other grocery stores around here, it's not that much more expensive. It's about the same. But in comparison to like Trader Joe's, it's different. So I do try to go to Trader Joe's when I can, but on the weeks where we're doing grocery pickup, it's Whole Foods, which obviously ups the price. So that was my long-winded way of telling you guys why we tend to eat like a higher grocery budget and why that's not something that we're currently willing to knock down. Obviously, if we didn't have the money and we needed to, we would knock it down, but we would actually knock down other categories first. I think when you're budgeting, you need to find which categories are non-negotiable to you and which ones aren't. For example, getting my nails done, going out to eat, certain supplements, haircuts, hair dyeing, all savings, that kind of stuff. It sounds bad, but like our food is above savings at this point. So that is why we spend that much money. Anyway, I feel like that was like a 10-minute ramble. So hopefully you're all still here with me. That's why we spend so much money on food. So these are our food budgets for this month. Medication and supplements, I have at $300. I don't know that we'll spend that much. Household, I have at $500. I'm still trying to figure that one out because that includes like Ivy's formula and stuff, and she is going through so much formula right now. Beauty and haircuts back down to $150 this month for nails and haircut. It honestly doesn't even need to be this much because where Ben is getting his haircut is cheaper than where he used to get his haircut, but I'll just keep it there for now. Personal spending I have at $150. This is a category we would cut, for example, if we needed to. Doctors I have at $500. I'm not even sure that's going to be enough because we have a ton of therapy now. Like I see a therapist, Ben sees a therapist, we see a couples therapist. I'm going to like women's group thing. Ben is doing somatic therapy with a physical therapist or something. I don't know. We have a lot going on. He's seeing a lot of medical doctors. This is one of those categories that sometimes is really high, and right now with Ben's health, it's higher, but isn't always that high. So that's where that's at. Utilities, $250, car, $150. We haven't even been hitting that lately because we're not going anywhere. Core and Fin, $250, and then I currently keep $100 for miscellaneous in case something random comes up that doesn't fit within here. So that's $36.50 of our budget that we put toward variable expenses. And then moving on, I don't know of any birthdays, holidays, anniversaries in October, so I just have it at $0. Planning to move over $1,000 to our savings. My taxes changes, I have it set up to my income up here, so based on how much money I bring in, I will save 20 to 30% of that for taxes that I'll just put into a high yield savings account. And then all of these other things do not renew, so we don't have to worry about them, and we're not traveling anywhere. So only spending $1,000 in our miscellaneous section, which is for savings. And if we have extra, we'll put extra toward that. So in total, planning to spend $8,666.82 this month in October. And that leaves us with about $760 of wiggle room. So that means if there's money left over at the end of the month, I will put it towards savings or possibly toward a debt. Although right now we're trying to get our savings up just because with Ben's health a month or so ago, we just really don't want to be in a spot where if for some reason Hira needs to stop working, we have a little bit of a buffer. Plus he has just a lot of health stuff going on right now, so we have no idea what's going to happen. So right now savings is more important than paying off debt, which it has been for a really long time. So I wish that we could be paying off debt, but we're not there yet. That is the long-winded version of my October budget. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment down below, and I will see you in the next video.